What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here, Macho Wrestling 101 for the Monday Night Wars. This time on the WCW side, hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these reviews. For whenever you want to go relive the Monday Night Wars, I archive them and I have them ready set. So we'll review this Nitro like we do all the Nitros and Raws in under 10 minutes. This is through the 107th week in totality between the two, as they've gone to war 107 weeks. Nitro has 88 wins, the WWF has 17 wins, and there's been 2 draws. Nitro beats Raw for the 69th week in a row. The scores for Nitro this week were 3.9, and the Nielsen ratings, Raw got a 3.0. So they won by a difference of 0.9, did Nitro, on another hot week for pro wrestling on cable television, as both shows did over a 3, which is meaning that wrestling was booming at the time. As for this Nitro, it went live Monday, November the 24th, 1997 on TNT from the Saginaw Civic Center in Saginaw, Michigan, USA. This was the night after World War III, 1997. We first see a shot of the NWO backstage. Bischoff's all smiles as the NWO come out. In the opening segment, we get the New World Order. Bischoff announces that Hall won World War III to some of the pop from the crowd, and that the NWO would be all smiles. Savage, Rude, the Outsiders, everybody came to the ring. Hogan carries a sign that says Bischoff owns Vince as he laughs. Bischoff congrats Hennig, the U.S. champ, and he talks about Hall, who won it all last night at World War III. Bischoff says Hollywood, the man who was never without a plan. Hogan says, Bischoff, now that you've proven to be the main man in wrestling, he'll put his NWO title on the line here tonight against anyone. Bischoff credits him for being a fighting champion. Commentators say he already has his match with Starrcade with Sting, but if he wants to put his title on the line tonight, that's up to him. Giant challenges him at the top of the stage. He has a big arm cast. J.J. Dillon comes out and says due to his hand and his arm, he can't do it unless he signs a waiver. Dillon says the match is on if so. Hogan says fee, fi, fo, fum. Hollywood will beat him until he's done. So he's a decent enough opening segment to get the fans into it, to touch on the night before the World War III, set up for the main event later in the night. It didn't take too much time doing that, especially since most of the NWO came out to talk in the ring, so that could have took up a ton of time, but it didn't. We open up in the ring with the Steiners with DiBiase defending their tag titles against Disorderly Conduct. Mean Mike and Tom Tough. That's their names for the WCW tag titles. Steiner and Rick really displayed some great tag team wrestling in this one. Just one of those opening matches that does what it's supposed to do, you know. There was a belly-to-belly overhead suplex. Steiner went with Tom Tough, and then a variation of a butterfly suplex. Then Rick went off with the top bulldog. Steiners retained their titles at 340. I give it a star. Booker T with Jacqueline takes on Mang with Jimmy Hart. Mang arguably the toughest competitor in the history of wrestling, legitimately. Booker with a high standing thrust kick. Mang took it and got back up and slammed Booker down, then a powerbomb. Mang drops an elbow and no one's there. Booker T picks up the momentum and a rollover out of nowhere into Mang, and he pins him. Give the match 3/4 of a star. Booker beat Mang at 256 after an unbelievable combo. After the match, Mang had his Tonga death grip. Stevie Ray comes out, then the Barbarian comes out, so Faces of Fear and Harlem Heat were going at it after the Mang Booker T match. They show clips of Raven having 24 hours to sign a contract for WCW or not. J.J. Dillon, the chairman of the executive committee, now has Raven, who said he's on Nitro for the last time perhaps. Raven then stands up and says he signed the contract but won't conform to your rules. So he's still anti-establishment even though he's signed a contract officially. Chris Benoit took on Sick Boy of the Flock. Benoit was doing great moves in this match, as was Sick Boy. Sick Boy actually took it to Benoit, which is a big upset if he would have won, but he was doing a lot of offensive momentum. A lot of reversals in this one. Benoit wins at 3:36 after he took apart every member of the Flock who tried to come in. After the match, I give it a star and a quarter. After the match, they try to injure Benoit as Raven sits in the corner. As all the Flock members attack Benoit. There was the rings of Saturn to Benoit by Saturn. Fans chanted Raven sucks as we went to a commercial. Back from the break, Hall and Zbyszko cut a promo where it's paid for by the New World Order in the black and white commercial. And it's about Zbyszko not being able to be a man enough. So Larry Z walks to the ring and challenges Scott Hall. Larry says he wants to wipe out Hall like he did a decade ago. He says NWO may be for life, but legends are forever. That's what Zbyszko says. And then all these flyers fall from the roof, which Shivani calls propaganda, and it has Bischoff pinning Zbyszko at Halloween Havoc earlier in the year. Zbyszko implies that Bischoff could take him on. Bischoff says, bite me. And Hall doesn't come down, so they just run this storyline between Zbyszko and Hall all into Starrcade finally. So it's all coming to a close where the match will become official. Prince Aoki versus Alex Wright with Queen Deborah. Aoki and Wright work a pretty decent match here. I gave it a 1.5 stars. Deborah has issues the whole time. She's on the apron. Wright pays no attention in a suplex. Wright talks with Deborah in the corner and Prince Aoki with a side body splash for the pinfall win at 3:16. So Prince Aoki with a big victory there. After the match, Wright complains with Deborah as they walk away. Not sure what she was doing on the apron the whole time, other than distracting Wright. But it wasn't as if she meant to. Then next we have Macho Man with Liz taking on the Disco Inferno. This is a basic squash. Savage won at 2:16. I gave it 3/4 of a star. Macho Man hit like 3 elbows. Went to hit a 4th one. Liz pushed the Disco Inferno into the ring post on the outside. Gave it 3/4 of a star. After the match, Macho Man hit 3rd and a 4th elbow drop to the Disco Inferno, then sprayed him with NWO. Liz then covered the Disco Inferno with one leg on his chest. That was good symbolism there. Dean Malenko take on Brad Armstrong. Tons of great sequences and reversals here. Chain wrestling, catch-as-can style. Armstrong with an arm wringer and a twist. Malenko with a standing switch puts the tension on the wrist lock. He gains leverage over Armstrong to Dean Malenko. Armstrong drops down and goes for a guillotine leg drop, but a hip toss is what blocks that and lands on Malenko's head. Armstrong and Malenko hit each other with a nice standing drop kick. Lots of wear down holds, and the reversals continued. Malenko wins at 5:27 with the Texas Cloverleaf. I gave it 2/4 of a star. Mean Gene introduces Mongo, who touches on the situation with Deborah at the time, and Deborah said she'd do anything to get things straightened out. Next up, we got Buff Bagwell taking on Chris Jericho, Bagwell of the NWO. These guys are both fantastic at portraying heels. Jericho is the face here, not quite at his prime 1998 WCW heel character yet, but he was still good as a face. Both these guys give it their all, a back body drop, a drop kick to Bagwell, a high knee to the shoulder, a clothesline to the corner. Jericho ran into a boot and Bagwell with a blockbuster and gets the 3. Buff wins the match at 6:58 as he got most of that blockbuster move. A 1.5 stars for the match. Kurt Hennig defended his U.S. title against Ray Traylor. Ray Traylor are former members of the NWO, as Shivani points out. These two wrestled in 1991 as Perfect Boss Man at WrestleMania 7 for the IC title. Now then, over a half decade later, they're in a different company wrestling for the U.S. title as their real names, Traylor and Hennig. Traylor won by DQ at 6:31, but not the belt, as Hall comes out and does the rest for the NWO. NWO there, and Savage continues the night of the elbow drops, as this time they beat on Ray Traylor. Liz has the paint, and they spray Traylor NWO, as he was a former member. We gave that match a 1.75 stars between Hennig and Traylor. The main event of the night was Hollywood Hogan defending his world title against the Giant for the WCW NWO world title. Hogan focuses on the Giant's hand in his arm, which is in a cast. Bischoff and Rude then head to the commentary booth. Bischoff and Rude order Heenan, Tenay, and Shivani out of the broadcast booth. Rude says without the hand, as the hand was being worked on, there is no chokeslam. Hollywood Hogan drops his leg onto the bandaged arm of the Giant. Hogan retains the gold, but loses via DQ after the Giant picked up the victory at 4:33. Sting came in with a bat and leveled the injured arm of the Giant. But of course he took off the mark, and it was Kevin Nash. The mask, I should say. As there's a big guy in a mask, and it ended up being Kevin Nash. So kind of a fooling move there to get the fact that the fans thought it was Sting coming from the zip line, but it ended up being Kevin Nash as he took off the mask. I gave that match 3/4 of a star. They end the show with the NWO running wild on WCW with the Giant down on the mat. The NWO stand tall. The NWO had a Sting dummy come from a zip line, and a fan threw a soda and hit Savage square in the chest. Then they go to hit it 4 they play a golf with a baseball bat as Hogan swings it to the head of the mannequin of the Sting. Quality wise, out of Nitro, this out of 10, this is a 6.5. It had some decent matches on the show, but it did feel like the night after a pay-per-view in some respects, which it was. Having the two main events with the U.S. title and world title helped. Malenko, Armstrong, Jericho, Bagwell, Benoit, Sick Boy were all good ones. They had more builds towards Zbyszko and Hall. They had Savage running rampant, but it had you guessing when the next time Sting would show up. I like the fact that they don't have Sting show up all the time. It's a nice little taste to not get what you want every week, or else it becomes redundant. So that does it for this Nitro. It's a 6.5 out of 10. I'm Brett Mix. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these Nitro reviews. I have a blast pumping out the Nitro and Raw reviews. Again, you can watch them on your own time, and that's that. All right. We'll see you next week for the next Nitro review. I'm Brett Mix. Like and subscribe. I'm out.